Welcome to For Your Rights. If you have questions, we have answers. Tires are a topic that we seldom think about until we need them, or we find ourselves in a bad situation like a flat or a blowout. With summer right around the corner and families planning trips driving in the Florida heat, perhaps we should look a bit closer at our tires to be safe. With us is Lance Ivey, a partner at Lyle Ryder Smith Ivey in Fronrath. Lance, first of all, why should we talk to lawyers about our tires?
Well, you don't really need to talk to a lawyer about your tire, but you do need to be educated about your tires, as it's the only thing keeping your vehicle and your family from going to the road and going off the road. So that's very important to know the specifics of your tires, the age of your tires, and the quality and condition of your tires.
And how do I know what is the right type of tire for my car?
Well, it's relatively simple. The owner's manual inside the vehicle has the information, and also on the door jamb of the driver's side door, and it's called a placard. It's right in the door jamb. There's a little sticker there, or two stickers. And that tells you specifics as to what the tire sizes are for the rear tire sizes for the front tire. It also tells you the appropriate air pressure for the positions of the front and rear tires. As you can see, a close-up of the placard for the vehicle.
And now what about the sidewall? What are all the numbers on the sidewall of the tire?
That's a great question, Cheryl. The sidewall of the tire tells us a lot of valuable information. It tells us the size. This is a P205, so it's a P metric 205. The 205 represents millimeters, the width of the tire in millimeters. The R stands for radial. 70 is it's 70%, the sidewalls are 70% the length or the width of the tire of 205. It also, the DOT number tells us a lot of valuable information. Ford Motor Company, other tire manufacturers and vehicle manufacturers have a shelf life of their tires, whether they're in use or not, whether they still have good tread on them. Some tire manufacturers say 6 years, vehicle manufacturers say 6 years, 10 years. But the DOT number, the last 4 digits, this has 0903. That tells us this tire was made the 9th week of 2003, so it's 15 years old.
Wow. So the age of the tire is very important.
The age is very important. When you go to buy a new tire, because there's no expiration date on the sidewall, you need to make sure that if you go to one of the local tire dealers that you look at the DOT number, and those last 4 digits tells you the week and the year of manufacture, so you're not buying a tire that's 5 years old thinking it's a brand new tire.
Right, I had no idea. That was so important. So if I'm getting 2 new tires, where do they go?
Well, most people believe you put the 2 new tires on the front of the tire. That's contrary. Unless your vehicle manufacturer recommends otherwise, the 2 new tires go on the rear of the vehicle, and the 2 older tires stay on the front of the vehicle. Reason being, you want the 2 tires with the most tread on the rear of the vehicle so you don't hydroplane and fishtail in case of water-like conditions here in South Florida.
Now, Lance, we have a comment from one of our Facebook friends, and they ask, new tires have become very expensive. What about buying used tires? Is it safe to buy tires online?
Well, first and foremost, you should never buy a used tire because you don't know the prior history of the tire. Was it taken off-road? Was it abused? Did they keep it properly inflated? Does it have repairs in the tread that you can't see that weren't proper according to the Rubber Manufacturers Association? So that's not a good idea to buy a used tire. As to buying tires online, if it's a reputable dealership online and it's a brand new tire, there's nothing wrong with that. Just make sure you go to a licensed mechanic to have it properly installed.
Okay, so now I remember hearing Ford and Firestone had some major issues, like even accidents that caused death. What should we do if this kind of instance happens where we have a defective tire?
Well, there's a recall for Firestone back in 2001 and 2003, and you're right, there was catastrophic tire failures that led to vehicles going out of control, rolling over, and causing injuries and death. So if you have an injury or death related to a tire failure, number 1, get appropriate medical care and treatment. Number 2, contact an attorney that specializes in this area so they can get to the scene and document the evidence and preserve the evidence in case it's needed for litigation.
So what are some of the defects that you've seen with tire manufacturers, and what should we be looking for when we buy new tires?
Well, 1, you want to make sure you look at the age of the tire and make sure you're not buying an old tire. 2, you want to ask them if the tire comes with nylon cap plies. Nylon cap plies is like a tourniquet that goes over the steel belts. So when centrifugal forces and heat develop in tires in the summer months, it tries to expand, and you want these nylon cap plies that go around the belt package to keep it tight so it doesn't have a tread separation. So you want to make sure that it has a nylon cap ply on the tires that you buy for your vehicles here in South Florida.
And what about the fancy aftermarket wheels and tires?
Well, the aftermarket tires and wheels are very nice and fancy, as you say, but you have to make sure that the vehicle manufacturers authorize those rims and those tires on your vehicle. Otherwise, you might lose your warranty on the vehicle if something goes wrong.
Okay, so I know that cars have become so technical today. What about tires? Have they gotten more technical, or is it the basic same tread?
Well, essentially the radial tires, which came into the marketplace in the early 1970s, have essentially remained the same. And you're right, cars have evolved over time. Tires are essentially the basic same construction.
Right. Now, is there any cost to hire your firm?
There's no cost unless there's a recovery. We also front the cost. We don't ask for those back if there's no recovery either.
Okay, it's good to know. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Not only will this information really help keep us safe, but it's a great resource just in case anything goes wrong.
Yes, ma'am.
If you have any specific questions that you'd like to reach out to Lyle, Ryder, Smith, Ivey, and Fronrath for a free consultation, just give them a call, toll free at 800-654-2024, or visit foryourrights.com.